What's up, everybody? Good to be back. I wanted to introduce everyone to my very, very special guest today. His name is Mike Muddy Water Petyak. He's an entrepreneur, a whiskey connoisseur, two very fancy French words, ooh la la, I know, and a power lifter, and honestly, just an all-around great guy. So before I really get rolling, plug whatever you want to plug, tell people where to find you, how to follow you, and we'll get it started.
Basically, depending on what you're looking for, if you want to follow powerlifting or the bourbons I'm trying, which I haven't posted in a while, but I'm on Instagram at muddy_water_Mikey is my Instagram, and that's pretty much I just use for powerlifting and bourbon. For business, I'm on LinkedIn. You can search Michael Petyak on LinkedIn, and our website, which is Oakmont FP for financialpartners.com.
Yep. And I'll make sure everybody has that information. So thank you so much for talking to me today. I actually do follow your company, Oakmont Financial Partners, on LinkedIn, and it's really great. Like, I recommend everyone follow Oakmont as well. So Mike posts a ton of great resources, and he's asking like the really important questions about personal finances, like who needs a will and who needs a prenup. So I'm in a unique position because my parents and my grandpa, my dad's dad, are super into finances, and they gave me more information than the average bear ever would, talking about things of that nature. But I know most of these topics are ones that people tend not to give too much thought to, as we're all trying to like live in the moment. So by the way, the answer to both of those questions are everyone needs a will and everyone needs a prenup, no matter what, no matter who you are. Am I right, Mike?
Absolutely. And there, those are good topics. And my most recent one, I think yesterday, was really good for people, because retirement's become one of those words that, I don't know that people are actually retiring completely anymore. Retirement, they may stop doing their main job and slow down, but they still may have earned income. And the most recent one talks about what does Social Security look like while you still have earned income. And that's an important question. Then if anybody has a chance to go read that, it really outlines what it looks like to have earned income and take your Social Security, how that's affected before you reach full retirement age.
Yeah. Big, like, see what I mean? This is the stuff you just don't even think about. You think Social Security is so far in the future. I'm just not even going to address it, but it's super important to start planning as early as possible, especially in 2022. You don't know what's going to happen in the future.
That's right.
Do you know anyone who doesn't like money?
No, there's some that like it more than others, but most people like it.
Yeah, I love money. So what really drove you to start Oakmont?
I've been in this business since 1997. I started with Merrill Lynch right out of college. And I actually lived in Richmond, Virginia. I went from West Virginia University and moved directly to Richmond and started there. Moved back here in 2003, which is Mississippi, and continued working for Hancock Bank on the coast. I had several branches in a territory down there. And then Megan and I, my wife, moved up to the Jackson area in 2008. And I joined a firm then in January of 2009 and was with them up until last year. And really the family dynamics for us changed. We both had kids coming into the marriage, which they were young at the time. And then all of a sudden, surprise, in 2016, we're going to have another one. So our last, so he was born in July of 17, July of 19. Yeah, I got to get my years right. So in 2018, we found out we're having another baby, and he was born in July of 19. So our youngest prior to that was 13 when he was born. So having just that shift, and the kids were getting older, and it was an opportunity. I had grown my business to be able to have something to take with me, to free me up a little bit, but also something I wanted to do and just grow my own entity.
That's cool. Working for yourself, being an entrepreneur, it's so hard. And it takes a lot of gall to just start it up on your own and get into it. So,
Mhm.
whew, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
It is tough, and especially with a big family and a lot of question marks about what's going on with the family. So that's huge. What do you think is the most important question that people should ask themselves before they see a financial advisor? So they've already made the decision they're going to go.
Mhm.
What do they need to do to prepare for that?
Be be prepared to be open. So a lot when it comes to money, people are guarded. And I understand that there's
I'm definitely guilty of that.
right, and it's just human nature. But if you're going to speak with somebody, um, be willing to disclose what you have. You know, whether it be 401ks or other accounts, or even if you've you know come from if you know that you have some earmarked money for inheritance, just all of that plays into your financial picture. Now, I never tell anybody to, okay, well, let's not do any financial planning because you're going to get an inheritance, because that could
Oh,
change at any point in
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That's not a good retirement plan.
Mm-mm.
And inheritance isn't a good retirement plan, but it needs to be known just to put as a piece of the puzzle. But really just being open and honest. So when you're looking for a financial advisor, it's good to find someone that you feel comfortable with.
So are financial advisors bound by any type of confidentiality, like a lawyer can't talk and a doctor can't discuss? Does that apply to financial advisors too?
It does from just our ethics standpoint.
Okay.
Um, I would, that's one thing that I tell all of my clients is like, I'm very protective of them, especially being a small business owner. I'm not going to jeopardize our relationship because it's a relationship of trust. So there is nothing that I'm ever going to do that's going to break that trust. So it doesn't matter who they are. I'm not going to go out and they'll say, hey, if someone's talking to me, it's like, oh yeah, so and so, they're one of my clients. You can go talk to them. I would never do that. There are some
Oh,
clients that have volunteered and said, hey, if you ever want a referral, they're welcome to call me. But even then, I still am very guarded and don't really use that as a source.
good to know. Good to know. I've read online, like a lot of the younger people that are starting to get into financial planning, they want to have direct access to their financial advisor. They want to be able to text. They want someone who's responsive. Like, is that something that you would also promote? Like, definitely being available?
I'm always available. It doesn't matter where I am. The good thing about what I do is I can work from almost anywhere. Now, I like my office and I like to be here. But if I have events that take me out of the office or conferences or even vacation, I'm still available. All I need is my phone and my computer, and I can get access to whatever I need. And we take scanners and printers with us when we travel,
Do
just in
you?
case. you know,
Megan
so
loves that.
yeah. So I am literally always available.
Wow. I appreciate that. I'm also always in direct contact with my financial advisor, like, hey, what's going on with my 401k right now? Oh, we did that with it. Okay, cool.
Yep. Yep. And
Love it.
even more now. So with the state of the economy, that people are very nervous. So one of the things that I have always told my clients, like, you will hear from me more when times are bad than when they're good. Like, because you got to know that I'm paying attention, and you got to know I hear things differently than what you're going to hear on the national news. So from the analysts that I speak with at different mutual fund companies, they're going to give a more grounded approach to what's actually going on. So I'm able to stay in front of my clients and say, hey, okay, this just happened. Here's what to expect, and here's what they're seeing. And
Hmm.
so I want to make sure to calm those nerves every chance I get.
Right. And you're able to offer a more personal, customized perspective on where their status is with their wealth and their finances. So I give you a
Exactly.
gold star. And
Thank
I
you.
also like your office.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. So just shift gears a little bit because I am so fascinated that you are also a power lifter. I mean, Mike is an absolute unit. You got to look at him on Instagram. He's incredibly strong. So what are your current milestones for your powerlifting? Like, do you try to do more reps, or are there different types of lifts? Is it all about just adding weight? Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so competing in powerlifting is basically squat, bench, and deadlift. And it's, your max lift is taken from when you compete. You have three attempts at each lift. Your best lift is taken for your total. And my total right now is 1560 across the three lifts. And my goal is 1600.
Wow. And do you have a timeline for that goal? Like, how does that work?
I thought I would be able to do it. See, I'm 48, we'll be 49 next month. My
Happy
goal was
early birthday. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. My goal was to do it before 50, but with I have a nagging back injury that just won't quit. And I don't think it's anything structural. It's more, I need to stretch more because I sit all day.
Yeah.
But it just won't completely heal, but it may be extended out a little bit longer. But I mean, with only 40 pounds away, I think I can still hit it.
I believe in you. So speaking of pain, how do you handle recovery, pain, injury? It seems like lifting all that weight, you'd be really prone to injury.
You really have to put your ego to the side, or you'll really injure yourself. So if you have to listen to your body. If something's not right, then don't continue to push it. Rest is good. I mean, my workouts are 4 days a week, and then I rest on the other days. And then every fourth week we do an active rest, which means we lower the weight considerably. We lower the reps and just go through the motions, but actually not taxing ourselves to do it. But I also have regular massages, myofascial treatment, and Epsom salt baths are nice.
Yeah, that myofascial. Oh, that I love that. Whenever I get a massage, I just tell them, you can't hurt me. You can walk on me, do whatever you need to do.
That's what I've told her. I just, say it doesn't matter if it hurts, just keep going. He's like, I've got to get this worked out.
Have you ever tried the cupping like Harrison?
Yes.
He puts those videos for cupping on his Instagram too.
Yeah, so I did. I had was going to a just for straight myofascial release of my shoulder for a while, and that guy would do the cupping around the shoulder blade. So he'd put that thing on there and just pull to try and free up that fascia in there, and it helped a lot.
When I was talking to Nick Lewis, he's Canadian Football Hall of Famer. He's a running back essentially, about pain and recovery. And he said that eventually your home just starts to look like a yoga studio with mats and bands, and you're doing a lot of stretching and that kind of thing. So
the good thing is when our youngest was born, we had to add a room to our house because we were having another child, and we just had to put everybody, which we had, it was already framed out. We just had to finish it. But at the same time, I asked Megan, I said, can I add a gym to the house? So we built a garage gym at the same time, and it kept me home, to help with the baby. But it was just convenient. So everything was able to move out to the garage. Now we can't park in the garage unless there's a bad hailstorm coming. We have the ability to pick everything up quickly and move 2 cars in. But for the most part, it's taken up with gym equipment.
That's solid. That's a solid plan right there.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that you're still putting your family first, but you have these hobbies that make you happy and you're able to do them and everybody's happy. So that's really, really good. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. I plan my workouts usually mid-afternoon while everybody's still at work and school. So when I'm done, they're done, and it pretty much works out. Unless something comes up, obviously we can all move those around.
Right. So what would you say to someone who's thinking about getting into powerlifting? Is it where do you start with something like that?
It's the same thing I did.
Be a big, strong person, or
you really don't. I mean, you got to make sure that you want to do it. And the only way that you know that if you're going to do it is to compete. So find a local meet. USPA.net is a great resource to find local meets. That's the federation that I compete under and have since 2015. There's meets everywhere. And don't be intimidated. They're some of the nicest people. My first meet, I knew no one. I just decided this is what I want to do. I'm definitely not strong enough in my mind to do it, but I just did it anyway. And it was a great experience. Everybody's very nice, very accepting, will help. If I just started talking to some people randomly and they explained everything to me, this is what we'll do. And blah, blah. So it's some of the best people you'll meet.
Wow, that's really cool. Because I'm sure there's a lot of moving parts to it besides just physical training. There's nutrition, there's recovery, like we were just talking about.
Well, the good thing about powerlifting versus bodybuilding is it really doesn't matter what you look like as long as you can pick up a lot of weight. So you're not trying to be chiseled up there. Your goal is to be strong.
Right. Anything else you want to like share about powerlifting?
No, I mean, it's just if someone is thinking about doing it and their thought process is my lifts aren't there yet, they're in my mind, I'm never there. Even though I've been competing for 7 years, I'm not ready. I'm never ready. So just do it. You won't regret it. There's no way that you'll regret doing a meet.
That was it. And when you say meet, you don't mean meat market. You mean literally go to one of these competitions.
MEET.
Awesome. Okay, so I have some questions about whiskey. In my mind, you're a whiskey connoisseur, but then in the top of our interview, you mentioned bourbon. So I guess that's my first question. Like, what in the world is bourbon, Scotch, whiskey?
Okay, so
are they all the same thing? Like, what do we?
So there's a saying that all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon, because of how it's made. So Scotch is primarily barley. And bourbon is unique because it's only American and it has to be 51% corn in order to be called a bourbon. So that's one of the main criteria that distinguish between Scotch and bourbon.
That is really fascinating. I had no idea. So
yeah, but bourbon is whiskey. It's just a different type.
So which do you prefer then, bourbon?
Yeah, most like bourbon. I have not found. I've had some Scotch that I have enjoyed, but it's not my preferred palate at all. It's a smokier. I don't know. Maybe it's the sweetness of bourbon that I like a little bit better because Scotch isn't very sweet.
Is it sacrilegious to put lemon in it?
The thing about bourbon is people. You can drink bourbon. If you like bourbon, you drink it how you like it. So people like it on the rocks. People like it neat. People like it in sodas. Now, there is some cringe to putting a very high-end bourbon into Coke. Then people, but if that's if that's what you want to do, it's not my place to tell you not to, right? I prefer, I'm in a bourbon club and we meet once a month and someone will host and the host will pick up 3-4 bourbons and we do like a blind tasting. And I'm not very good about picking out tastes or the nose. Like I can smell some things on the nose, but as far as on the palate, I'm working on it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And there's so many different types of bourbon out there for every different type of palate. And just because it has a higher price tag doesn't always mean it's good.
Ooh, okay. I'm kind of like you when it comes to drinking wine. When I drink wine, I'm like, this definitely tastes like a red wine. I buy that.
That's about it. Like, yeah, this is definitely bourbon that I can handle bourbon.
But you must have a favorite, right? What's your favorite?
I have several. So there's some that you would have what you would call your everyday drinker that you would always have in your cabinet. And there's a few of those that I have, which would be, believe it or not, it's one called Evan Williams Bottled in Bond. And it's depending on where you are here in Mississippi, I can get it for $16 a fifth. And people are like, that doesn't sound like it's very good. And it's like, it's probably one of the best bourbons you'll drink. For 60, even at a higher price point, it beats out a lot of bourbons that, like I said, not just because it costs more doesn't mean it's better. But if you go up the food chain a little bit, then Buffalo Trace, just straight Buffalo Trace, is always a good choice, in my opinion. Wild Turkey Rare Breed, I absolutely love. And some of the Four Roses, if you get a barrel pick. Now, some stores, a barrel pick would be like the liquor store would go to the distillery and buy the whole barrel, and they'll get to sample all the different barrels, 4 or 5 different barrels, and they'll pick, I want that one. So that store will buy the whole barrel, and then they'll have their name on the bottle saying this is XYZ store's barrel pick. And some of those Four Roses barrel picks are fantastic.
Cool. My dad actually really likes Jeffersons whiskey. Have you heard of it? It's apparently, for people who haven't, they put it on a boat, they send it to sea for like, I don't know, 6 months or a year or something. It comes back and it has a little travel journal. It tells you where in the world it's gone. And I guess that motion of the boat like makes it all mix up nice. I'm not really sure.
So it's keeping the bourbon in there, heating the barrel and getting a lot of the flavors of the oak in there. And so that's Jeffersons Ocean is what that one's called. And it's, even in Kentucky, you've got the changing of seasons. So you've got the barrels contracting, expanding, in those rick houses to when take up, so the bourbon's getting into the barrel as it's going through the temperature changes.
Oh, okay. Little science knowledge drop for us.
Yeah, I'm learning as I go. So I'm only a couple years into it. But I've really enjoyed it. There's a lot to learn about bourbon.
Okay. What are your opinions on peanut butter whiskey? And the latest one I've seen is like pickle juice.
I don't like pickles at all, so I've not seen that one. So I'm going to pass on the pickle juice. I've had the peanut butter whiskey, and for the most part, it's kind of tasty. It would not be my choice, but just if someone has one and says, here's a shot of Screwball, I'm not going to turn it down because it's somewhat tasty.
Gotcha. So are you on the rocks kind of guy, or do you like it neat? Also, are you impressed that I know those words?
Yeah. So if we're doing our bourbon tastings, I'm going to do it neat because I want to pick up as much flavor as possible. Now you can add a few drops of water to that, and it kind of opens it up a little bit. But if I'm sitting at home and just want to pour a bourbon, then I'm probably going to do it on the rocks. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if that helps water it down a little bit or make it last longer.
I just, for me, I just like the cold, because I'm going to pour a little bit more sitting and watching a football game than I'm going to do when I'm just doing some blind tastings. So I just like the cold a little bit.
Gotcha. Yeah. Down in Mississippi, I could imagine why.
Yeah. We're having second summer here this week, and it's not fun.
It's not much better in Florida.
I wouldn't imagine so.
Although I hear we're getting some rain next week, so that'll be good.
Yeah, I think it's after this week. I think we're both getting some cooler weather, which definitely needed.
Please, I'm ready. It's football season, for crying out loud.
I know we need cold weather for football.
So I'd like to wrap our interview with a question, actually in honor of my first interviewee, Nick Lewis, known as Mr. Milestone. Milestones to him are things that you're continuously working on towards improving. Like, even if you do something well every day, you should just try and be a little bit better. So could you share a milestone that you're working on with us?
I'm working on several. Obviously, I've stated my powerlifting goal. So, just the normal training, trying to reach that goal. From business wise, it's a networking thing. I'm trying to reach as many people as I can. I've joined, so where we live, we have a very unique opportunity to be a part of a brand new city, just outside of Jackson, just north of Jackson, called Gluckstadt. And we just incorporated about a year ago. So everything now is just expanding, and things are being built nonstop, and it's pretty exciting. So I'm part of the Business Alliance in Gluckstadt, which is being able to kind of meet with the business owners up there. And right now we have a lot of retail, a lot of restaurants going in, and other types of businesses, which has been nice. So just doing a lot of networking through that, and then growing our business. When it's just the two of us right now, we're in the talks with maybe expanding in the next couple of years and maybe adding 3 or 4 new agents or advisors, depending on which path we go.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's exciting. We've had a few discussions about that, and don't know the time frame on that or how long that will take, but it's definitely something we'd like to do.
And I actually get your newsletter, which I love. It comes with just like a short video that gives you a high level of what's going on in the economy right now. I love it. It's just a little temperature check. How can people sign up for that newsletter from you?
They could shoot me they can go on LinkedIn and shoot me a message saying, hey, add my email address to your monthly newsletter, or they could email me and say, hey, would you mind adding me to that? It's Petyak@oakmontfp.com is my email address.
Don't sleep on this, people. It's really important financial advice. There was one on wills that I was like, yep, I'm gonna take a little note here.
I talked to a lot of people about wills. Now, I don't do them personally. I have to refer out to the attorneys in the area. So if you have a good attorney in the area, by all means use it. But the other thing about when you do your will, I think it's important to also do the power of attorney and the healthcare directive. So just don't stop at the will.
Right. Like a whole little in case I die package.
Yeah. If you want, a lot of times you may not want to put the burden of pulling the plug on your spouse. So, healthcare directive may help say, hey, you're going to be going through a lot. If I am brain dead on a life support, let's let, my brother or, whoever make that decision.
I would never even have thought of that. See? Thank you for all this free advice today.
You're welcome.
This was really, really cool. Again, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy. You got a lot going on with the family and the business and the powerlifting. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. This has been fun. I really appreciate it.
And we'll definitely have to do a catch up at some point.
Good deal.
Tell us how your business is growing.
Yes. Let's hope it's positive. I'm sure it will be.
Yes. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you.